I hope to impress you, not with my importance, but only with your importance in the matter of the debt you owe your town. I understand that recently you excluded a few words from your motto, he profits most, and so forth. And as your motto now indicates, service above self, you recognize that service means a duty, and that duty means a just debt. Perhaps you do not interpret your slogan or motto as I do, but inasmuch as you have publicized the words service above self, I have concluded that basically you mean that you realize that you must pay the debts you owe your community, state, and nation, and that it should not be necessary to send you a bill or a statement showing exactly just what you do owe your town. If I should tell you that I have always been a volunteer, it is not my intention of trying to convince you that you should also be a volunteer, but rather to impress you with the fact that even though I do not belong to Rotary, I have been a Rotarian since 1914. And even though I did appear to be selfish in wishing to appear before the Smethport Rotary, I felt that I owed a duty to your town in my effort to carry on my volunteer work of publicizing that all of us do owe much service to our communities. What do we owe our town? Not how much money do we owe, but just what do we owe in terms of intangible values. Values that no checkbook can pay. Now, we know today that it takes money to buy a pound of butter or a yard of cloth. Yet we also know that there are many valuable things in this town that cannot be purchased with money. To name a few of these items, we can select honor, sincerity, honesty, and your own word, service. And you will note that none of these items can be paid for with cash. General Bradley gives an excellent description of values when he made this statement: because of the exaggerated emphasis we have attached to the dollar sign, perhaps many of us have already accepted the dangerous illusion that we can buy our responsibilities by making out a check. Recently, Bradford's Reverend Sizer made this statement during a sermon. He said, "This world of ours is not in its chaotic condition today merely because we have done the things that we should not have done, but very largely because we have neglected to do the things that we ought to have done." So my point is this: what we owe our town cannot be paid for with just dollars, but also with the type of service we render our community. Let me give you another illustration. Infantrymen in Pennsylvania and others organized into a team known as the 112th Regimental Combat Team. We were huddled in cold, wet foxholes west of Schmidt, Germany in November '44. As we faced east, we saw German infantrymen with many Tiger and Tiger Royal tanks approach our positions. Many shells fell on us. Rifle and machine gun bullets ripped up the ground near us. It was just like the movies. And when the attack was over, and when our casualties had been treated, we found that our team had accomplished a part of its mission. The team had paid part of its debt. The members of this team were merchants, lawyers, doctors, students, and laborers. The merchant could have carried a checkbook in his breast pocket. The lawyer might have had valuable bonds and deeds in his pack. The student should have carried a notebook and pencil. The doctor had surgical knowledge, and the laborer did carry a pickmatic. Each member of this team had a job. Each obeyed orders, realizing that a team must cooperate if it is to function and win battles. Most of the team were wounded, and too many were killed. Their mission had been accomplished, but not because of the money in the bank owned by the merchant. The fact that one team member attended Baptist services and that another held a membership in the Knights of Columbus had no bearing whatsoever. The doctor and the laborer would not have been impressed by the valuable bonds in the lawyer's pack. The Catholic made no inquiries about Baptist services, because these facts are of no concern to honest men in or out of combat. Thinkers and men of experience have said that a community's strength is not to be found in its bank statements. It lies instead in the character of its people, in their willingness to sacrifice leisure, comfort, and a share of their talents for the welfare of the town. Recently, we read about pensions for veterans, and for some reason it seems that we have forgotten about the subsidies paid and the cost plus during and after the war. Apparently, we deliberately fail to estimate the situation with any number of real facts, or with at least fewer opinions. It seems that most of us view a situation from our own personal point of view. We must not overlook the fact that today it's electric cooking and deep freeze, air conditioning, telephones without wires, speed vehicles, television and radar, over 1,000 miles per hour transportation, and the little old atom. We talk too much about the good old days when eggs were selling for 10 cents a dozen, when we had few modern conveniences. The United States is growing up. We are only 174 years old. Today we work 8 hours. Yesterday it was 12. Yesterday it was 7 days each week, and now it's 5 days weekly. And then a shower each morning and evening, and only just recently it was a tub bath in the kitchen on Saturday night, and then only during the summer. Today we no longer bathe in the kitchen because we are progressing. We are moving ahead. Nothing and no individual can stop social progress. Those who would wish Americans to continue taking a Saturday night tub scrub are trying to turn back the clock. Time waits for no man. Youth looks ahead and is now seeking more and better knowledge, better opportunities, and above all, security. Americans are being taught to think. They are being taught how to analyze a given situation without the fanfare of rabble-rousing statements with no meaning. Clear thinking is commencing to be one of the objectives of democratic America. Modern America believes in being good to your neighbor and not to use him as a stepping stone for financial gain. And those who are indoctrinated with the basic principles of service to the neighbor have stopped thinking about what the community owes them and are now trying to pay their debt to the community. If we dare to look upon our government simply as a legacy left to us for our enrichment and ease, then we shall someday awaken to find that our nation has rotted as quickly as our character has decayed. Are we selfish? Do we render sincere service to the community without the uppermost thought of financial gain or checkbook profit? Many folks believe that we have failed to teach our people to be less aware of their rights and more aware of their responsibilities. You cannot buy leadership with a checkbook, nor can you buy freedom with money. All of us must assume our responsibilities before we get too deep into the red. Certainly we all realize that it was not war bonds, machinery, or oil that won our recent war. It was men. And the men who made it possible for our freedom are now dead. They, the dead, paid the price, and all we did was make a profit. Freedom cannot be purchased with a checkbook. We must inform our people that freedom and democracy is a two-way street, that with its benefits comes the necessity for also giving service, that life on this earth is measured in terms of years, and during this period of time, we should measure our values in terms of the worth of our service to the community, and not on the basis of financial reward. That is what I believe we owe our community.